Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers have the Golden State Warriors coming into town tonight. And honestly, we haven't played basketball in over a week because the All Star break. That horrible excuse for a basketball game was played this past weekend. We all got through it together. Now we have LeBron James, who kind of hurt his finger in that game a little bit, finally returning after breaking the all-time scoring record, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar against this. Who did he do this against? He did it against the Thunder. It wasn't against these Golden State Warriors, but nevertheless, he did that, and we ain't seen him since. So we're back basically. Everybody is intact. The team has made trades to get better. We brought about 6 new guys in. Devon Reed, Mo Bamba, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, Rui Hachimura, and D'Angelo Russell are all on tab. We got rid of some guys that needed to be gotten rid of. Russell Westbrook. Unfortunately, Thomas Bryant's not a part of that, but he asked for a trade. He's a Nugget now. Westbrook's a Clipper. Pat Bev's now with the Chicago Bulls. JTA and Damian Jones, free agents at the moment. And who else? Who else did we send packing? We sent somebody else out of here too. But the team is different, obviously. But we still have Dennis Schroeder on tab, and we still tend to lean on him a lot. So we're gonna have to try to find a sweet medium for ourselves in regards to our roster rotations. Of course, we've had a lot of complaints about that in regards to Darvin Ham being our coach. He's a rookie coach, so we kind of give him a pass for a lot of mistakes. But unfortunately, the margin for error right now doesn't exist. We don't have one. So going up against the Golden State Warriors tonight, we start a 23-game process where basically we are 3.5 games out of our 6th place goal. Is essentially what I've been made aware that Darvin Ham wants to make the 6th seed his goal. We have a 5% chance of getting that, although that's completely skewed by the fact that everybody's smudged together. So any conversations in regards to the odds of the Lakers making the playoffs and the odds of other teams, everybody has the same odds. As I listen to these different conversations, people are talking, oh, the Lakers have a 5%. Everybody has a 5% chance. There's like literally 5 games between the 3rd spot and 13th spot. Everybody has the same odds. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody better win games. And so that's what it is. We're all starting the playoffs very early. Even though the schedule doesn't tell you these are playoff games, I don't think there's a single team in the Western Conference that's trying to make the playoffs that doesn't see themselves playing playoff basketball right now. Because that's the situation. If you don't have a win-or-go-home mentality, you're going to lose the games necessary to beat the teams that are running against you right now. And these are the teams you happen to be facing if you're the Los Angeles Lakers. Tonight, the Golden State Warriors, obviously a contender in this conference. And we got 3 road games coming up after that. Dallas, I believe it's Memphis, and I don't remember what the other team was, but we're going to be seeing those 3 teams on the road right after this. So let's just be real. The Los Angeles Lakers must win out. Let's not talk about what the odds are in regards to the Lakers must win 16 games. None of that. No, none of that. The situation is this. Every game you lose takes your fate out of your hands. So there is no margin for error. I'm not expecting the Lakers to go on a 23-game winning streak, but I need them to be extra intent on fighting to the end. That's all we can really give it. That's all you can really give it. You focus on what it is you can control. You're not a perfect basketball team, but you focus on what it is you can control. Take every possession seriously. And any possession that isn't taken seriously has to be considered a deterrent to what it is that you're ultimately trying to do. And if you're not looking at it that way, and you're tossing up 3-point shots from behind the arc that don't have any merit, or leaving people on the floor that don't help you, or not respecting size. Size is so important because it's one of the biggest deficiencies I've noticed in regards to Darvin Ham. I word it in a way that says I don't believe he respects size, but another way to word it is I don't know that he identifies size mismatches very well. He just doesn't appear to have an eye for when a guy is so much bigger than another guy. And so that's okay. You know what I mean? But we do need to identify that as a team and give ourselves an opportunity to have better opportunities at size advantages. And that is not aligned with the way we set up our team in regards to how I'm viewing this. Just because we ran small ball that doesn't necessarily mean that aligns with what I just said. Even if we weren't running small ball, I still think he has an issue with identifying when people are bigger than other people. I think small ball is something separate. We were running based on minutes, demands, and various things that we had going on individually with our players, which was a mantra for failure and ultimately why we are a sub 500 ball club right now. So what I'm hopeful our team will do is move on from all of that. LeBron has passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We're not chasing anybody anymore. There's no reason to treat certain possessions that way. We treated possessions specifically a certain way throughout the course of this season because of the fact that LeBron was chasing Kareem, because we were trying to make sure that he got that goal. He got the goal, but we didn't get a team championship for that. And his legacy is not going to be remembered for that in our uniform. In fact, we lost that game, and a lot of us will remember that more so than anything else. So he needs to go ahead and take what he said seriously. I've heard a lot of things come out of people's mouths on this team. Seriously. And I'm going to say this. Facts over feelings, I ain't seen a whole lot of evidence of that. LeBron said these are the 23 of the most important games of his career in terms of regular season. I don't expect him to miss too many of them. Now, granted, he's dealing with the foot. He's played more games than any other human played in the history of the sport. And his usage is higher than anybody else's, arguably, on our team right now. So we can't disrespect just exactly how hard it would be to do what it is we're asking him to do. And maybe how irresponsible it would be for him to play 48 minutes every game in this stretch. It's just not the way to go. But some of the things that he does to conserve energy does throw possessions away. And those are the things I want him to control. If you can play in every game, play in every game. Play in every game. But in playing in every game, give us what you can to make sure the possessions make more sense than just conserving your legs and three-point shooting so that you can backpedal or whatever the mantra is, whatever the idea is. You got to let go of some of that to assure that our possessions are more quality, man. Because if we throw away possessions all willy-nilly, it's going to cost us games, and we got to be methodical if we're going to do what we're trying to do. And if we're not going to do what we're trying to do, and I'm going to say this, and this is important because I want the Lakers organization to understand what I'm saying here. If we're not really going after it, the most responsible thing for our franchise to do is shut Anthony Davis down. Okay? Let's just be real. Because he's dealing with something that he's probably going to need to heal from over time, the bone spur, whatever that foot thing is. He's not supposed to be running on it. So I don't mind at all if we cannot do it. I just ask that people identify that in time and then do the next thing that makes sense for the franchise in shifting away from trying to salvage this season and then shifting into making sure that we have healthy pieces for next season. And that means making sure that Anthony Davis does what he needs to do to ensure that he's ready for the start of next season. And if that means shutting us down early because we can't reach our goal for whatever reason, because guys don't want to take possession seriously, because we can't seem to get rotations, because we drop 4 games in a row over the next 2 weeks, like if these next 4 games are all losses and we find ourselves in a position where we really can't do it, we got to shift our thinking quickly, because the last thing you want to do is be running out there with an empty timeline when you know you can't do it, and then Anthony Davis gets hurt and he's out for the most of next season. LeBron James gets hurt, out for most of next season. Then you've not only lost this season, but next season, not because of anything other than the fact that you couldn't identify when it was time to cut the cord. So that's something that's very important to me, because I know how this goes. Guys are stubborn, and sometimes when it gets to a point, people don't identify when they've run out of time. People don't identify when they're risking things that have no business being risked anymore. And so that's what it comes down to for me. I double back to what we were talking about. This is what we're saying. We take every possession seriously, because if we win now, this is what is required to actually win. You know what I mean? It ain't just as simple as suiting up and having intention to win it. Nah, you got to do the things that it takes to win, or don't psych yourself into believing that you're actually doing so and actually end up risking things that have no business being risked. You see what I'm saying? You got to be a certain level of smart to be able to succeed. And one of the things that's required is knowing when to shift your focus. And I think the Lakers have done a pretty good job of having a feel for that. But it's worth saying as a fan, we got to know when to shift our focus. I do believe a 4-game losing streak would do it for me. Because what it ends up doing is piling you into a space where you cannot necessarily be responsible with players' health and chase what you're chasing because you got too few windows for them to miss any games. So they're gonna be playing through injuries, doing things on the court that don't necessarily cater to good health. Just different stuff that's probably gonna end up hurting you anyway. So the pressure's on, man. I'm not one that particularly loves pressure myself, but I'm not a basketball player. Some of those guys love pressure. It's what they sign up for. So they got it all here. Anybody on this Laker team, this is a historic moment. This is historic. If you can do this, you're doing it next to LeBron James, and nobody ever going to forget it. Ain't nobody ever going to forget it. So that's what I would tell a guy like D'Angelo Russell. You know what I mean? Jared Vanderbilt, Dennis Schroeder, Austin Reeves. A lot of you guys, your careers are ahead of you, but these might be the biggest moments of your career because of who and all what's going on. These type of moments don't happen. You don't find yourself next to a historically great 5 more minutes left on his career. Now, you know what I mean? This is the moment that you're going to be remembered for, even though it's early for a lot of you guys. And so that's what it is. When you get on that court, understand what you're up to. You're not just playing regular season games or what have you. You're attached to homie's legacy. You attached to his legacy. You're going to be the reason he did succeed or didn't succeed. They're going to blame you, whatever. But if you look at the guys who won it with him, or if you look at the guys who had valiant effort with him and didn't win, but it still went, Della Vadova, for example, you're going to live good. Della Vadova's on the Kings right now, if I'm not mistaken. He's still in the league. And that's one of those things that keep you in people's minds when you succeed next to LeBron James. So I would tell those guys, man, all these dudes on this team right now, you're not on the Jazz. You're not on the Timberwolves. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? This ain't that. This is an opportunity to be remembered forever. And so it starts tonight. The playoffs start tonight for the LA Lakers against the Golden State Warriors, against Jonathan Kuminga, against Klay Thompson, against Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, who was on the team? I want to say Matthew Dellavedova, but no, it's DiVincenzo. They got guys on that team that are going to try to shoot the ball. Andrew Wiggins is not expected to play tonight. Personal circumstances. Hopefully everything goes well with him going forward. Steph Curry's out. He will be reevaluated. Rumor has it he's going to target next time we play them 2 weeks from now to return just like everybody else against the Lakers, as we know. So we won't be seeing him tonight, but chances are we'll see him before it's over. So this is more reason why we have to win tonight's game. Golden State Warriors don't have everybody they need. GP2 is expected to miss the game as well. He's still not healthy. All kinds of stuff bad for Golden State. They're one of the teams in the midst of this nonsense, the scrunched up nonsense with the Western Conference. They're one of the teams that I think are really in trouble because of how hobbled they are to start this process. We're healthy. We don't expect to have anybody missing tonight. Bron is probable. AD's supposed to play. All our guys, 100%. Fresh off the All-Star break. We should be a little rusty. I'm not expecting us to be on the string necessarily because of the intensity and the circumstances we have right now. I do expect for us to snap into gear. After the jitters get out the way and the pressures, everything we got going on, I expect us to start playing focused, playoff-like basketball and bringing intensity to every one of these games with the understanding that the referees are not pro-Laker. I don't care what the NBA, ESPN, anybody tells you. The NBA has already proven to us that they give one damn about us. We know this. And I direct this at everybody on the team, coaching staff, everybody. They hate us, bro. If you have to come to terms with a bad call, let's do it now. Before it even happens, let's get it all out, because I'm telling you, that's to be expected. You're not going to get the call. You're wearing purple and gold. You're not getting the call. It's part of it. You get 17 championships accredited to your name, and you get no calls. It's part of being a Laker, so let's get that in our heads for everybody who puts on the uniform from here on out. If you get to the line, be surprised. But do not be upset when you don't, because it's part of the experience of being an LA Laker. Period. And get that out the way, man, so people can get that all out the system. Throw a finger at the referee now. Do all that now, so that when it's time to get back on defense, it's nothing slowing you down. Nothing talking to them, none of that. Somebody hit you, you know you got hit. You were going to get hit. The question was whether or not they were going to credit you with a foul. The hit was coming either way. So don't let contact slow you down if you're an LA Laker, because at the end of the day, we're trying to make every shot because we're not getting to the line. If we get to the line, focus on hitting the free throws because it's obviously a miracle you got there. So definitely make them count. That's my thought. I mean, it's not deeper than that. We got to stop reacting to everything that is set up for us to react to, because that's the type of stuff that ends up keeping us outside of our competitive nature and has us playing into the defense's hands, which is also wearing the stripes, because that's how it goes when we're playing. We know this. We know this. That game against Boston taught us everything we need to know. You know, it taught us everything. They ain't called nothing. They came back and said no problem was even occurred. They said it was nothing. We don't believe your lying eyes, Lakers. You lost fair and square. LeBron didn't get hit. So that's their truth. Period. So that's what we got to do. We got to lay up the ball, make sure it goes in, because they're not going to give you the call, and that's fine. But over the next 23 games, we got to be able to overcome that. Our minds got to be able to overcome that as a team and not allow it to affect what we're doing. You know, you're going to get touch fouls. Part of being a Laker, 17 championships. Also, every call goes against you. You can barely play defense in this league, period. So you know you're not going to be able to do it as a Laker. So, you know, it's going to be incumbent upon Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis to manage their foul trouble, be aggressive where they can, and most importantly, I look at coach and I say, you got to make good decisions as it pertains to playing players in foul trouble. That's a thing. Earlier in the season, he toyed around with Anthony Davis with 3 fouls in the first half. He toyed around with a couple other players with having fouls in the first half. I don't mind when Anthony Davis has a minutes restriction, because I know he did that in one of those games when he had a minutes restriction. It was no problem. That made sense. But in a situation where he doesn't, when you got 23 games only and you got to win them all, these are the type of things that will cost you a game. I'm not saying I know what makes sense, because sometimes you do one thing and it gives you the opposite result. Who knows? All I'm saying is whatever Darvin does has to work. It has to work. If you're going to give Anthony Davis an opportunity to play in foul trouble, it's going to have to pay off. Because if we end up not having him the whole third quarter of these particular games, you look at some of these matchups, it ain't going to work out. You're going to need him out there. So I'm just saying, little things, they matter. Matchup rotations. Can't leave Dennis Schroeder on the floor 30 minutes a night when he's out there not giving you the production to make it make sense. We've talked a lot about that recently. It's not limited to him, but he tends to be one of them 3 horsemen of the small nature that we tend to lean on a lot. 2 of them are gone. 1 of them still here, so it's very important that we don't continue the nonsense. You know what I mean? We got too much size. Rui Hachimura, I want to see him play, but we got to use him wisely. There are certain things that he can and cannot do, just like everybody else on our team. And you know, possessions matter. So I don't want to single him out necessarily when I say this, but we just got to get people in the ball in positions to do what it is that they do well. Don't have people catching the ball in awkward positions, shooting. Possessions got to be conventional. Me personally, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Pick and roll AD Bron all game for the next 23 games should get it done. 70% of the time it should be them 2 playing off each other. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm going to make life real easy on myself if I'm Darvin Ham. It's only those 2 getting the ball pretty much, playing off each other, and then we throw some Austin Reeves and some shooters around there, get the ball to D'Angelo Russell to pick his spots and in between that. But we don't need to be doing too much anything else. A lot of what I saw throughout the course of this year was 2 things. The Lakers running small ball, not getting rebounds in situations, even though they rebound well for a small team, because you had Westbrook constantly up boards. We're going to miss him for that for sure. But it's one of those situations where it's like we would also put ourselves in a position where we just would not have the size on the floor to make it make any sense, ultimately leaning on players that didn't need to be shooting the ball as much. Asking Patrick Beverly to shoot 12 shots, you know, letting Troy Brown shoot more shots than AD. I mean, stuff like that. No. Heck no. Not in the circumstance we're in, not when we have a small margin for error. We paying these dudes basically $500 million a piece. let's just exaggerate the hell. Get them the ball and let them run a pick and roll that is one of the most impossible things in this league to stop. The one problem I've had with the Los Angeles Lakers throughout the 5 years that we've had these guys is that we don't do that enough at all. We've been running everything but that, giving people all kinds of different cachet, letting Dennis Schroeder and all these different people have so much respect on this team, while these 2 players make life so much easier for us. If we were to send these 2 players to any other team, you do know that's what they would do with them. I hope y'all know that. Like all this stuff that we doing around Anthony Davis and LeBron James. If you send them two dudes to Philly, all Dark gonna have them doing is running pick and rolls all day long. If you send them to the Timberwolves, all they coach up, they're gonna have them doing is running pick and rolls all day long. It can't be stopped. Anthony Davis and LeBron James cannot be stopped. That two-man game is impossible. So let's keep it simple for ourselves and start running a lot more of that, man. A whole lot more of that. Because that's what it is. We just played down to the level of the opponent all season long, y'all. That's really what it was. We could have competed in all them games. All of the games we lost, we could have competed in. But because we just did simple things that made it easier on the opponent, we ultimately found ourselves who we were. And so, like, for me, it's like, nah, we don't have to do any of that. No, we didn't do. We have to be confused about why we're in the circumstances we were in. We were in those circumstances because we did not take advantage of opportunities to be in a position to be an advantage. Or have an advantage, rather. So that's all it is. That's it. Let's keep it simple. Get a ball to AD and Bron. Let them run their thing. When they get tired, put the young gunners in. Let them run. Do the Austin Reeves Vanderbilt thing all day long. Beasley about 6-7 threes. D'Angelo Russell going crazy, shooting rainbow shots all day long, and then sit them down. 80 Bron, 80 Bron, 80 Bron, 80 Bron, 80 Bron. You're going to look up the scores, up 15, 20 points. You do that enough times because ain't nobody can stop that. Who's going to stop that? Who in Denver's going to stop that? Who on Portland going to stop that? Who on Golden State? Draymond? You know what I'm saying? Kevon Looney? I got respect for those guys. I ain't going to play with them. But show me they can stop AD and Bron's pick and roll. Because I honestly don't need Rui Hachimura taking 15 shots tonight. Not with them too healthy. I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it comes down to for me. Let's keep it simple. I know we got all these nice little shiny toys. They're going to be awesome to help us do the meat and potato stuff. But how we're going to win these next 23 games? It's Bron AD, 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 Bron AD. What we should have been doing the last 5 years. So let's do that. Keep it simple. So that's what I want to say, man. A lot of what everybody's focusing on is how much time we got left. But we also got to have a lot of energy, too. So with the Bron AD, we do have to throw in a healthy dose of those kids. And let them do a lot of heavy lifting, of course. But, we really should live and die with those guys. We did way too much living and dying with other people, man. And we died with respect. It just was what it was. And when we got rid of those guys, we're happy about it. God bless them. We hope they all land on their feet. We hope they all don't knock us out the playoffs, for which we're going to see them, too. Patrick Beverley will be coming up. 2 games to Chicago will be coming up in a couple weeks. Clippers, of course, we're going to see Westbrook very soon. And what have you. But as far as tonight, look. We know what the Golden State Warriors are about, even without Steph Curry, even without Wiggins. It's going to be about shooting the ball. Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole. Guard the perimeter. We were not good guarding the perimeter against Portland. We know that. They shot especially well, and we got especially blown out. And it was especially fortunate for me to not watch that game. So you tell me exactly how bad it was. I heard enough. I know enough to know that we have to guard the perimeter better in that situation. And if we don't do it better tonight, we're going to lose. Now, the last game we played was against the New Orleans Pelicans. We had a nice little flex there against them. Not a memorable game, but ultimately one we were proud of. Got good production out of our new guys. Anthony Davis played well on the defensive end. No Bron, no problem. Pelicans out the way in that particular game. It's been a week and a half. We don't necessarily have those tendencies to carry over, but what we didn't realize is that our perimeter defense and shooting has not been very good. Okay, the Lakers, salute to Kobe Bennett. Always want to salute when we remember to do so. But, the Lakers, as of right now, are considered a very solid three-point shooting team after bringing in the 2 shooters that we did, Russell and Beasley. The problem is we haven't been shooting the ball very well since making the trade. Not over 32% in any game that we've played. So we have to respect the fact that our three-point shooting discipline still needs to be in effect until further notice. Now, if we improve and we see those shots fall, for which they should since we have the personnel for it, no problem. But the way we've been shooting the ball as of late, not acceptable. We have to tell the new guys what it is the Lakers are about. We've worked some tendencies that we appreciate into our equation, and we want them to carry those methods forwards as well. Three-point shooting discipline is most important. Be accountable for every 3 you shoot. because there are players on his team who shoot the ball rampant, and they will not respect three-point discipline. LeBron James, you understand what I'm saying? We got to make up for his three-point errant shooting that's just going to come. And so guys like D'Angelo Russell, if it's falling, Beasley, of course, that's what we brought you here to do, shoot the ball. But if it's not falling, we do ask that you don't shoot us out of the game, because it is a problem for this roster. And we can't afford to drop games, and we can't afford to drop games because guys are missing shots. Dennis Schroeder, all of our guys that shoot the ball a lot. Lonnie, if he's going to get some playing time, hopefully he does. Troy Brown, sometimes he can shoot too much, sometimes he can shoot too few. I don't know what we're going to see from him. He's a little inconsistent, but I have loved what I've seen from him since having thrown him into the starting lineup and had that 14 rebound game. Impressed the heck out of me. His upside is on the defensive end, and I'm very excited about him going forward. And I think he's a good player to keep in rotation, heavy rotation. Now that Vanderbilt's on the team, we know the history with him being teammates with Wenyen Gabriel. I suspect we will try to find ways of putting them on the floor together for that continuity. Our GM has done a fantastic job of putting players on the team that have played with one another, guys that have stories, history behind, good positive history behind them, playing with clusters of pockets of players that have played with one another. That is a big thing when you have what we have on the line with these games left. So hopefully we can find rotations of guys that have played with one another, put AD and Braun on the floor with those guys, and let's try to use as much continuity as we possibly can over the next 23 games. What else? Talking about the Golden State Warriors. Is there anything necessarily that I would want to pay attention to tonight? Yes. The first name that I mentioned to you guys, I don't know why, but I just got a feeling this is the type of game where he's going to get an opportunity. A guy by the name of Jonathan Kuminga. He's an easy bucket getter. And the thing about him is he's been getting minutes here and there. And I just feel like after the All-Star break, with a guy like him, with the athleticism he has, the way that things have gone to where he hasn't had the minutes, but now they'll be there. This is a lot of stuff pointing at him wanting to come out the gate and play well, to have a good second half of the season. With other guys not out there, they're going to be leaning on his offense, because they really only have two real offensive weapons. And that's Klay Thompson and, of course, Jordan Poole. So you look at Draymond, he's not giving you no buckets. You look at Looney, putbacks, stuff like that, tip-ins, no real buckets. DiVincenzo, it depends on how it's falling. I expect him to have a good night. But, I look at some of them other guys, Ty Jerome, they're going to be leaning on. With no Wiggins out there, maybe they'll get some Moses Moody minutes, but he hasn't been getting the minutes even with them missing guys. So I'm expecting a lot of Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, a whole lot. And with that being said, guarding the perimeter is everything. Obviously, Wiseman's gone, that kind of thing. So this is when I look at Kuminga and say there's more shots available to you. It just appears to be an opportunity for him tonight to get more shots. Either him or DiVincenzo or Jerome or, JaMychal Green maybe. But these are the guys that I expect the Golden State Warriors to be leaning on, if not for those two shooters. So for me, it's like we gotta overwhelm these dudes. Quite honestly, they just don't have enough talent tonight to be facing a real fully healthy Laker team. So you flex on them, you do enough AD Bron, and you send them on their way. This is a road game for this team at that. Fresh off the All-Star break, they shouldn't even. They should not win tonight. This is not a game they're favored to win. We expect to get the victory. So that's what it is, man. I'll be looking for the Lakers to flex and do things that work for them, man. D'Angelo Russell playmaking, obviously something that I want to see more of. We just got to empower the young fella. Obviously, with Russell Westbrook gone, some of those playmaking duties are going to be on him now, forcing the ball to AD in the second half. That's a very important trait for this team if we want to win basketball games. That's not the word, but you remembering that we have an issue with him basically getting the ball in the second half, keeping engaged, not shooting enough, just going through the motion. We need him to play at a much higher level if we're going to win any of these 23 games, especially with the intensity that the other teams are going to be throwing at us with their stars. We can't have him going out there being a fourth of himself, kind of iffy, not really feeling like being a Laker. All that's over with. We understand that there were rumors going around about him being traded and him being unhappy about the possibility of being traded. We talked about that. He wasn't traded. We got a team here that can win. Nobody's on the verge of being, out of the situation on any level. Everybody has a solidified spot. So we just need to go out there and be on a string as a team. Have a team agenda first. Not thinking about other stuff. Nobody's chasing Kareem no more. Nobody's worried about being traded. Nobody's looking at guys taking their minutes for them and being small in regards to it. If you're going to be missing minutes, it's going to be because somebody on the floor is going to be able to do some things better than you are. And that's the only way it should ever be. Honestly, it's the only way it should ever be. If I got to sit, it better be for a good reason. And so that's what I'm expecting to see. Meaningful rotational advantages. Give ourselves that. Make it make sense. If the guys are going to sit, so make it so that they have something to cheer for while they're out there sitting for to no betterment of themselves. So that's what I hope to see, man. So on Darvin Ham to help us with that, big time, and for his coaching staff to help him with that, and the players to help all of us and get it together for the fans, for yourselves, for the flag, for the colors, whatever. Motivate yourselves to get it done. For Bron, definitely, we got to understand that he only has this moment in front of him. He can talk about what he wants to do, but at this age, you don't know when your body's going to allow you to go, fall off a cliff. You don't know what injury future possibilities could be ahead. You just got to take the health you have and win right now. And so I expect our team to do that. We have brought him the pieces that we expect can be good enough. Now it's on him to get the most out of himself. Fire up AD, him too, to step up and get the most out of himself. And then for those young guys to step into their own, recognize the opportunity in front of them, and see that playing well can propel them into spaces that they weren't projected to be in before coming here. You play well here, you're going to make some money, man. Whether you get it with us or somebody else, you helped LeBron James get a championship, and that might be a lot more money in your bank account. A guy like Vanderbilt, a guy like, all these guys, everybody else for a new contract over the next 2 years. This is your time. This is your time. A lot of these guys are 27 years old. If you can't prove that you him now, then you're probably not going to do it later either. That's what I got to say to most of these dudes. 27 is that age. That's that age. Like, I didn't been through enough, but I got enough left. So let's get it done. I don't want to wait. If there's more to learn, let's learn it. Let's learn it right now. Like, that's how it has to be if you're that age. So that's what I expect. Nobody's wide-eyed. Nobody's new to this. Everybody in this team has been in the league long enough to know what the hell they need to be doing, with the exception of Max Christie. These guys know what they need to be doing. It's time. This is your moment. Whether you're in year 20 or year 2, it's now. And so that's what I'm saying to the Los Angeles Lakers. It starts tonight. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, let me check and make sure I got my thing together. It's the 32nd minute. It's February 23rd. We got 23 games left. LeBron James wore 23. He wears 6 now. We're trying to get to the 6th seed. You understand what I'm saying? All of this is lined up. All this is lined up. So let's get it. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan wore 23. He's chasing Michael Jordan. What, I don't know what else to tell people. Time is now. I think something special could happen here if we just put ourselves in a position to give ourselves the advantages necessary and learn from the mistakes that we made earlier in the season. As I always say, I'm an expert at what not to do because I've done it all wrong. So I know what you should be doing because I've done it the wrong way. I know what comes with doing it the wrong way. I'm an expert at that. So we've made a lot of mistakes as a team. We know what happens when we shoot too much. We know what happens when we don't rebound. We know what happens when we miss free throws. We know what happens when we don't keep our foot on the gas with a big lead down the stretch of a game and let teams come back. We know what happens when we shoot poorly and throw possessions away and shoot early in the shot clock. We know what happens when we don't create fast break opportunities. We know what happens when we don't guard the perimeter. All these different things. So let's take all the data from all the mistakes that we made and become experts in what it is we should be doing and start implementing those habits over the course of the next 23 games. And if we are doing that, then the wins are going to come with it. The wins will come with it. You know what I mean? And so that's what I got to say. That is the gist of it, man. I'm super excited about the uphill battle that the Lakers have and the pressure they have an opportunity to prove themselves under. A guy like D'Angelo Russell, he was made for this. He was made for this. This is what he's about. Ice in his veins, the more pressure, the better. He played with Kobe Bryant. You understand what I'm saying? If ever there was somebody that I know is not afraid of what we got in front of us, it's him. To be completely honest with you, it's him. So I'm gonna be looking at him to engage in a certain level of maturity. Everybody's waiting for him to make a mistake, even though they're not gonna admit it. They are, and I'm telling you, I'm not. I see a good version of D'Lo right now. Somebody who understands the mistakes that he's made. He's lived with all of it. People have humbled him, in regards to it. It ain't pretty with that reputation. He's lived with it, and he's been a professional in it. And now it's time to get back to what he was doing when he first made that mistake, which was being a Laker point guard trying to get that number one up in the rafters. That should still be his goal. If I'm D'Angelo Russell, I don't care what other people think of me. I know what I can do. And I know what I'm built for. And this is it. This. To help LeBron James win a championship before he goes out. That's what D'Angelo Russell was born to do. So that's what I'm here to tell you. I expect him to step all the way out. And not in doing too much. But over the course of the next 23 games, he's going to improve. He's going to improve. And as he does, we're going to start looking at him differently and start seeing him as one of them top scoring guards in this league over the next 23 games. I do believe that. It's going to be about efficiency, though, not volume. Efficiency. Keep hitting, keep making good and easy plays. You don't have to score 50 points. Give me a good 15, but make most of those shots. Hit the ones from the line. You know what I mean? Those are the type of things that if he's doing that and he's picking defenses apart and then backing up and letting AD and Bron do what they do, look out. The money's coming. Look out. That's all I got to say for D'Lo. He'll be all right. So that's what it is, man. Methodical, cold. That's what he got to be. Ice in his veins, man. Ice in his veins. And I'm telling you, if he's on that, Bron will follow. Bron will follow. That's how that goes. So that's what I got to say, man. That's exactly what I got to say. I'm excited about the situation more so than I am nervous. I think this team is built for what it is. I like the personalities. I like the cold nature of some of these young guys. I like the overall intangibles that a Vanderbilt's going to bring you. When he's jumping all over the place, guarding everybody, making life hard. He's going to make up for Patrick Beverley not being out there. Health is everything, though. We just got to keep guys healthy, keep healthy legs on the floor, not lean on nothing that doesn't work for too long, and respect that other teams are going to be just as urgent, have just as much urgency as we are. They're in the same situation we're in. A lot of these teams are the same teams we're going to be battling against, so it means even more so as if it's a division football game when you go up against certain teams over the next 23 games. Some of these teams are the teams you have to beat, not only as it pertains to your standings, but as it pertains to home court advantage and various different things that also have to do with standings. It means double time to beat Memphis. It means Golden State, Timberwolves, OKC. Massive games we must win. So, these are the games that help us learn who we are. Against Golden State, against a lesser version of themselves, we got to find out who we are, get them tendencies out the way while simultaneously winning. And if we can do that, we'll know we're built for what it is we're trying to do. And if we fail it, then we know we're not. And that data will help us too. So it is what it is, man. I got to finally put my clothes in the dryer. They should have been in there already and eat some food. But I wanted to get you this information and just encourage the Los Angeles Lakers to embrace the moment. Because although it's a lot of pressure, there's also a massive amount to gain for each and every one of these individuals on this team for behaving as a team over the next 23 plus playoffs. You keep the team goal first, and all of your individual goals will manifest into just a beautiful mountain of money for you once you do the winning. So that's what I got to say, man. That is it. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching.